First up, the good. It was a stacked weekend for fight fans. Bamma on Saturday. Cage Warriors had a stacked card as well as UFC. Canelo vs. GGG was one of the more bigger boxing matches of the year. However, Bamma delivered. 13 of the fights were cancelled, but the 23 RDS that remained showed up. Davies Bura was a lot better than expected. Tommy King lived up to his name of KO. The main event was exactly what we expected it would be, a straight-up grudge match. Aaron Chalmers silenced a lot of naysayers, and because he was victorious he will most likely fight on the Bamma card in Newcastle at the end of the year. If Scott Coker is impressed, it could take him to a whole new level. And lastly, we saw 3 title fights and 3 new champions. The welterweight title was vacant. And now the bed. Firstly, there were meant to be 15 fights and we ended up as 10. Bamma 31 was still a good show and delivered, but because Bamma puts on so few shows a year, when they do show up, they make sure to put on as many meaningful fights as they can. Charlie Boy Howard had a ton of support with him in making his Bamma debut against David Calsa. The first round, Howard felt out his opponent working on Calsa's left knee, but Calsa got the better of him overall. Howard was more confident in the second, continuing on Calsa's knee and controlling the pace. In the third, cardio kicked in and Calsa got the better of the exchange, picking up a decision win. Also on the night, Nathan Rose picked up a decision win over Ali Mathis. It was hard fought. He was looking for the finish with poster boy Jimmy Manuwa in his corner, but it wasn't to be. However, he still got the W, and it was a good showing from both. Finally, to the ugly. David Calsa's left knee. In the first round, newcomer Charlie Boy Howard worked kicks to Calsa's left knee. Calsa neglected to check the kicks, and after the first round it became pretty much an obvious target. Needless to say, Saturday morning, his plans for that night's knees up went out the window. Next, both Liam Davies and Tanver Bura had an extremely physical first round, probably the best round of the night. Some stand-up quickly went to the ground, and with Davies getting the better at first, and then Bura turned the clash around after getting a leg lock. In the second, it became more physical with Davies opening up on Bura, leaving both covered in red. It would be unfair not to mention Martin Hudson annoyed at the ref for stopping the fight, but that's MMA, and also the stellar knockouts, in particular Alex Thompson, who was making his debut, and after 32 seconds received a stiff left hand from Aaron Chalmers, knocking him unconscious. Luckily he walked out of the cage, but it was touch and go for a second. Also, Mike Shipman with a swinging back fist out of nowhere to capture the middleweight belt from Yannick Bahati had the former champ coed stiff for the good part of a minute. And in the main event, Nathan Jones ate a violent knee from Alex Lahar, turning his lights out for a minute or two. A great showing from the UK's leading promotion, and to be honest, the fact that there was 10 fights and not 15 didn't fatigue the fans. Next up, Dublin in November, where only 2 fights have been announced, but let's hope it doesn't take another 3.5 years for them to come back to London though.